Alright, how is everyone doing? Today, we're talking about bosses. How to kill them, where they spawn, what they drop, the secret techniques, all of that. So, bosses are very important in this game. They drop lots of good loot. They're fun to kill. So, we're going to get started off with the movement patterns of bosses. Okay, first is what is called the normal or stop and go movement pattern. Bosses with this pattern can move and jump. So you see the queen here, it moves and then it jumps. Here it's going to move just like this. It moves and jumps. It can do the both of them at the same time. But you always know it's going to move for a little bit and then stop with a jump somewhere in the middle. Alright, next we have the fast, also known as sprint movement pattern. Bosses with this are the hardest to dodge, as they move faster than the player and are still able to jump. So as you're seeing here on the hand, you kind of want to jump over the boss and then go under it when it jumps. So typically you can jump over it once and twice and then run underneath it. Now this is significantly harder than dodging the stop and go movement pattern, but it is possible. So I'll just let this play out. And finally, we have what is called the weird movement pattern, also known as the dino movement pattern. It's kind of like a variation of the stop and go, as you can see, but he does some weird stuff where he gets stuck and just jumps up and down. He can double jump. Sometimes he'll do super jumps, which is interesting, as this is the first boss in the game to ever have a super jump, which I will go into super jumps later. But look at this. He kind of just jumps here and there. If you push him, he'll run after you. It's just kind of weird. Alright, super jumps were added to all bosses when slightly after Forbidden City was added. This is the first and only time a boss's movement pattern has been altered. In this case, every single boss. Basically, every boss has a small chance when they jump to jump 2 to 3 times as high as they normally do to prevent you from standing on a ledge and smacking them when they jump at you. However, the Dino boss always had this ability. It was just added to every boss in the game to stop you from cheesing. Alright, now we're going to talk about different strategies for killing bosses. Okay, we are starting with the AFK strategy. This is the easiest strategy for killing bosses if you have enough defense to tank them, where you just sit in a corner and attack the boss. There are some variations. You can have some lower defense players running a full damage setup to kill the boss quicker, or healing whoever's tanking to keep them alive. Alright, next is the pushing strategy, which is a little bit harder, but allows you to kill bosses that are more difficult for you. This is called the pushing strategy. When the boss moves in, the host of the server lets it hit another player and then pushes the boss away. This allows the host to push the boss away without taking damage, while still letting everyone in the lobby deal damage to the boss. Okay, this next strategy is probably the most complicated. It is called the sacrifice strategy. This strategy only works on bosses with the normal movement pattern, and how it works is everyone who is not the host will go into the corner like you're AFKing. This is typically used against bosses you're not able to AFK though. Meanwhile, the host will stand on the other side and attack the boss. Everyone who's not the host will attack until they all die, in which case the host will run away and dodge the boss before turning around and reviving everyone who died, and then repeating the process. This is used to kill bosses that are way harder than you're typically able to kill. However, it relies heavily on the host's ability to dodge the boss, making it more difficult to pull off than other strategies. And the pushing strategy typically works better and quicker than this one. Okay, here we have a variation of the pushing strategy called the tank pushing strategy. In this case, the host is someone who has enough defense to fully tank the boss. So everyone else in the lobby runs a DPS loadout while the host takes the hits and pushes the boss away, as you're seeing here. And this allows you to kill the boss faster. The downside though is this only works if the host has really high defense and is able to stay alive, as if the host dies you pretty much have to wipe and lose the boss kill. but it is pretty useful if you've got someone with very high defense in the lobby. Okay, we are now moving into some more advanced boss techniques. How boss teleportation works is when a boss is targeting a player, every time it gets shot by a long-range projectile, it has a small chance to teleport straight to that player. So if you can get a boss targeted on one player and have another player shoot it, you can have the boss teleport exactly where you want it to go. So here in this case, in Ice Caverns, we are teleporting it up a floor. This is also very useful in Ice Caverns, and a little useful in Tomb of Makar. As you see, it just teleported. I come up here and it's falling down from up there where it teleported to these two players. Now, you used to be able to shoot bosses through walls like this to teleport them somewhere else. However, as you're seeing, this has since been patched. You cannot shoot projectiles through walls anymore. Alright, the final secret or difficult technique is known as the boss parry. This allows you to push a boss away without taking any damage. So you hear me doing it on the king. Right there, he did not hit me, but I was able to hit him. Again, right there, he landed on my head, should have hit me, but he didn't. How this works is if you hit a boss the same moment it hits you, it can't hit you. You take no damage, and then it has to wait to hit you again. And so in that time, you can push it however you want without getting hit. Now, I've tried to do it with the pickaxe, but on the king, it's just not possible. I'm sure it is on other bosses, but the king's hitbox is a little weird. I'm doing it here with another weapon. There I mess it up and get hit. I'm pretty sure here I get the parry. See that? And I don't take damage. Now, this is probably the most difficult technique in Pixel as it's very precise, but it is extremely useful, allowing you to fully tank or solo any boss, no matter how much damage they do, allowing everyone else on your team to run full damage. So if you can get good at this, this is extremely, extremely useful. Finally, we are on to the bosses themselves. Now, I do not have every boss on this spreadsheet, just the ones that I think are kind of relevant. And so we're going to start off with the hand that spawns in Grasslands Arena. This hand has 1400 health, deals 8 damage, and has the fast movement pattern. You only need about 20, maybe a little more defense to only take 1 damage from it, and I would say it's definitely worth the kill solo in the very early game, as it can drop gems, tier 1 characters, the copper and iron sword cast, and the staff cast to make the healing staff 1, which is very helpful, as well as some other low tier loot and silver keys. Now moving on to Darklands and Darklands 2, we have the hand boss that has a chance to spawn when roaming that area. It does the same damage as the hand from Grasslands Arena, but has 600 extra health, being at 2000 health. But it does the same damage. You need about the same defense to take it, as the same movement pattern. However, its drops are very different. It can drop the Combo Book 3, the Apple for Healing Staff 2, and the Combo Scroll are its 3 most important drops. And I highly recommend killing it, even if you're solo. It's very good. It's not mentioned here, but it can also drop the purple lantern shield, as well as silver keys too, so it's very good to kill. Now, next, we're going to move on to the 3 levels of King, starting with the level 1 King that spawns in Darklands Arena. Does about 16 damage, so with 35-45 defense, you should be fine to tank it. It's got 8400 health. It drops scrolls, iron, gold, and I think copper swordcast too, as well as rooster dress. Again, I would say it's worth to kill solo. Darklands Arena is a pretty fun arena when you're newer to the game. Now, King 2 has 8,800 health, does 24 damage, and honestly, I would recommend having at least 80 defense for him. I don't know why this says 45. Now, this spawns in Hell 1. Now, it drops scrolls, gems, level 1 to 2 characters, the Combo Book 4, and evil apples. Again, very worth to kill, even in the late game if you're farming gems. It's great. Now, King 3, this spawns in Hell Arena. It does 27,000 damage. Or, sorry, it has 27,000 health. What am I saying? Sorry. It does about 48 damage and has a normal movement pattern. Again, about 80, maybe even 100 defense, probably, for this. And it spawns in Hell Arena. It drops scrolls, gems, it can drop master keys, characters, I believe 1 to 3 level characters, sapphires, and other tier 1 and 2 gear. It's very good. Next, we have the level 1 Queen with 20,000 health, does 54 damage. This spawns in Hell 1 and Hell 2. It again drops scrolls, gems, characters. Combo book 5 has a very low chance of dropping, and the evil apple. This I would honestly probably say you want more like 120. Now, moving on to the Queen level 2. This has 32,000 health, deals 78 damage, has a normal movement pattern. It is recommended you have 151 defense when fighting it, and it spawns in Hell Arena. Now, this can drop scrolls, gems, characters, book 5, sapphires, master keys, tier 1 and 2 gear, including the bronzeman armor, and healing staff too. This is a very good boss to kill. You can also drop red seeds, which are not on here currently, but I will add them right now. Alright, we're kind of zooming through these. I don't want to waste too much of your guys' time. Moving on to the T-Rex, also known as the Rex. It has 36,000 health, deals 67 damage, and has the weird movement pattern. The T-Rex and the dinosaurs are the only bosses in the game with the weird movement pattern. Now, it is recommended you have at least 140 defense, however, more is always appreciated. Now, it can drop Erbium, 1 to 2 sapphires. The 2 sapphire drop is extremely rare. I've only gotten it once in my whole time playing. And it drops armor rings 1 to 4, so it's really good early game before you have your armor ring 5s. As far as killing it solo, though, I would only really kill it with a team, because it has a lot of health, especially for that stage of the game. Next, moving on to Queen 3, which has 30,000 health, deals 81 damage, and has a normal movement pattern. It's recommended you have about 151 defense, and I would highly recommend killing the solo, as its main drop is volcanic ore. It has a chance to drop one of them. They can also drop gems, golden seeds, scrolls, characters, tier 1 and 2 rings, and the Santa bag during the Christmas event. Now, moving on from that, we have the big butterfly, also known as BB. This has 100,000 health, deals 141 damage. If you're just running by, it's recommended you have at least 160, but if you're going to kill it, I recommend having 170 defense. It is not worth it to kill, in my opinion. It has similar drops to the Queen 3, but does way more damage, has way more health. Now, it can drop dark stones in the missing page, but all in all, it's not very worth it to kill at all. Let me fix this. There you go, dark stones. Now, it can drop pretty much all the gems. It also super jumps a lot more, making it harder to get away from. But I personally don't think it's worth it to kill. Next, we have the Ghost Boss with 85,000 health and 135 damage. It has the fast movement pattern, making it extremely difficult to kill solo. If you're in a team, 160 should be fine. If you're solo, though, 170, 180 is recommended. That being said, I do not think it is worth it. It is very time-consuming to kill. It can drop Vulcan, tier 4 rings, the giant candy, which is good. Some of the Halloween masks, the Halloween ball, attack rings, Moonblade 4, firecracker. Now, it can also drop the ghost hat. So if you're early in the game and have some friends to play with, it could be a way to get a 12 defense helmet early on. That being said, it is more worth to craft Dr. Pumpkin 2, or Dr. Pumpkin 1 as of right now. Now moving on to Modena, which has 70,000 health and does 103 damage. If you're in a team, it is recommended you have 151. If you are solo, it's recommended you have at least 160, but you can kill it with lower. This has the most normal movement pattern of any boss. It is extremely worth it to kill solo. It can drop all the Modena items, including the Modena dress, which drops with 35 defense. It is very good. It can drop healing staffs 1 to 3. It can drop all of the stones, Darkstone, Topaz, Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. It can even drop Master Keys. It is a very, very good boss to kill. I cannot recommend killing it more. Now, moving on to Doom. It has 110,000 health, deals 36 damage, and has a normal movement pattern. It is recommended you have at least 160 defense if you're in a team, 170 if you are solo. Now, it drops the Jade 5, the Dark Heart, some tier 4 rings, attack rings, characters, combo scrolls, and gems. This one is not worth it to kill if you are solo, as it is a very unforgiving boss and has a lot of health. But if you are in a team, I would say it is worth it to kill, especially if you can kill multiple at a time. Moving on to Fortune, this has 120,000 health. It deals 154 damage and moves fast. If you are solo, this is the hardest boss in the game because it moves so fast. It spawns in a variety of areas, mostly Forbidden City and Snow Valley. Now, again, I don't think it's worth it to kill solo. It's recommended you have at least 170 defense, but most likely 180, 190. Now, it drops Forbidden Stones, which makes it worth it to kill in the late game, as well as the Ring of Attack 2. But other than that, I wouldn't really kill it unless you're in a team of 4 with high defense where you can AFK the boss. Next, we're moving on to Fruit Loop, also known as the Pineapple Boss, with 70,000 health and 113 damage. Has a normal movement pattern. It is recommended you have 151 defense if you're with a team, probably 171 if you want to tank it solo. This spawns in Fruit Loop Arena, and this boss is a very good boss to kill. It can drop Page U, it can drop the Happy Shark, which gives 10 damage as a chest piece, drops tier 1 to 4 gear, drops honey, characters. It's a very good boss to kill. Now, moving on to Evil Santa. This spawns in Snow Valley, also known as Santa, has 130,000 health and does 164 damage. It has a normal movement pattern. It is recommended you have 170 defense, but you're probably going to want high 180s or 190 defense to take it. If you are below 161 defense, it deals an extra 40 damage, making it deal 204 damage a hit. So at the very least, you want 161 unless you're being carried. That being said, it is probably the most worth boss to kill in the game, dropping Nightmare Ore, the Red Dream Shield, Dress of the Lich King, Vulcan, Missing Page, all the Christmas trees, combo scrolls, all of the stones, Chocolate Ring 4s, tier 1 to 4 gear. It keeps going. It drops tier 1 to 4 rings. It drops the mango rings. It drops the Christmas dress. This might even be tier 1 to 5 gear because it drops some really good helmets. Tier 1 to 5 gear. It is a very, very good boss to kill. Now, finally, we have the Makara boss, also known as Mac. It has 150,000 health, deals 184 damage. It has the most health and most damage of any boss in the game. I do not think it is worth it to kill solo, as it takes just so long. It is recommended you have at least 180 defense, but 190 would be better. Now, again, just like Santa, it does bonus damage when you are below either 160 or 170 defense. I believe it is 160 though. Now, its super jumps are more rare compared to other bosses. Now, it drops Teeth, Skin, and Treasure of Makara, used to make the best shield in the game. It also drops the Emperor's Dress 1 and the Chocolate Ring 5, as well as Armor Ring 5 and 6, all extremely valuable. And it has all the same drops as the Santa boss. So it is a very good boss to kill. However, the area it spawns in is significantly more difficult, and it is harder to farm them as consistent. That is why typically Evil Santa is better to kill. However, Makara is still very good, especially if you're in a very good team. Now, I just want to put this disclaimer. This does not include all the loot that these bosses can drop, just what I thought was important. And that is all the info I have on these bosses. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments.
Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me going over pretty much all the info I have on bosses in this game. Next up is either going to be on all the normal mobs in the game, or it's going to be another how do I get that, as I haven't done that series in a little bit and I want to continue it. So I hope you enjoy, and I hope you have a great new year. I forgot to mention, thank you to Vera Dessen and Braden for helping me get the footage of the boss killing techniques. I'll show a screenshot of their usernames in game right now. Alright, that's all. You guys have a great day. Bye.